Welcome to another episode of Coach A's Football. Today we're going to discuss outside zone blitzing from the 4-3 defense. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, coaches, now we're back. All right, we want to talk about outside zone blitzing, what it is, what exactly you're trying to accomplish, and all those type of things. All right, first thing, in your zone blitz, you have to understand what it is you're trying to accomplish. All right, today we're talking about outside. So we want to create a lot of pressure from the perimeter, whether it be the short side or it be to the field side. All right, you can do the same blitz from both ways. That's not a problem. So today we're just going to talk about one side of it, but you can always flip it. All right. When you're doing zone blitzes, what we're trying to do is still bring a 5-man pressure. All right. But it looks a little different than just a 1-man blitz. So what we're doing is actually bringing two defenders from depth. All right. Whether that is a DB and the linebacker or two linebackers. All right. So also behind that, what you're going to do is you're going to play a zone defense. Typically, it's a cover 3 defense. All right. So you're going to have a 3-man deep and a 3-man under. All right. And how we create that 3rd man under, especially if we're blitzing 2 people, is we're going to drop back a defensive end. All right. We're going to get right into that now. So let's take it to the whiteboard and let's see how outside zone blitz versus a 2-by-2 formation. All right. So we're back. Here we have outside zone blitz with a 2-by-2 formation. All right. We're going to call it America's Blitz because that's what most people call it, but everybody does give it their own particular name. So what we're trying to simply do, all right, let's talk about this, is let's go through the coverage part first just to knock that piece out of the way, and then we can talk about the nuances of the defense itself. All right. So our corner is going to play this deep third. This corner has deep third. All right. Because we're going to bring the blitz from the Sam side, all right, we're going to spin this backside safety. He's going to play middle third. Now, here's where the outside zone blitz takes place, okay? We're going to send the 2 guys off the edge. So we're going to send our Sam and our Mike backer, all right? So before we do that, first thing we have to do is get our defensive lineman out of the way. So what do we do first? We want to make sure we take our big end, send him inside to the A-gap. We're going to take our 3 technique, send him opposite side A-gap. We're going to take our nose, and we're going to send him, and he's going to play through the inside shoulder to contain of the offensive tackle. All right? Our rush in, and we'll get to this in a second, so just hold on for that. And we'll talk about what he has to do in order to make that 3 under look. All right? Now, let's talk about this. This is super, super, super important when we're talking about blitzing. All right? And some coaches do this, some coaches don't. I particularly like to do this because it gives our one blitz 2 different looks on the same call. All right. So, for example, we're going to talk about surface, right? 2-man surface versus a 3-man surface. All right. So what I like to talk about is a 2-man surface where there's no wing back, there's no tight end, anything like that. It's just simply a guard and tackle. That's what creates a 2-man surface. All right. A 3-man surface would be the guard and tackle plus those additional guys, a wing, a tight end, an H-back sitting right on the line. That creates that 3-man surface. Okay. So what we want to do first, we're going to talk about a 2-man surface. What do we like to do in a 2-man surface? We would like to cross those blitzers, all right? So I'll give a very simple tip to my players. If you get a 2-man surface, you want to cross, okay? Very simple. 2-man surface, we want to cross them, all right? So what we're going to do here with the Sam backer, okay, is we want to take the Sam. He's coming strictly right off the edge. All right. He's coming straight off the edge. He's playing it tight into the cuff. Why is he doing that? Because, again, we're crossing it. All right, so I want him to play the run, the inside zone, anything like that. Okay? Our Mike backer, he's the second person in our blitz. And our Mike backer, he's what we call the flow back. All right? Flow, I always like to draw like a little flow like waves or a little river or something like that so the players understand when I say flow, meaning that if the ball goes away from the blitz, your blitz is off, you go with the flow of the play. All right? If the play is flowing towards your blitz or if it becomes a pass, then your blitz is still on and you stay on. So now let's just say it is a pass. He's blocking. He's now said, okay, I'm still turned on. I want to come here and come right tight off to behind him, and therefore we've crossed, okay? And now I become the contained player as the Mike backer. Very simple rules, all right? Now let me get into the wheel here. The wheel, he's going to simply drop here into your hook the curl area. And now we talked about this rush in on the backside. The rush in is very important because he creates that 3 deep under look. If there are 2 receivers for my defense, if there's 2 receivers detached, we're going to simply give a tag call to that rush in and say rush middle, rush middle. That means that the rush knows to drop to the middle of the field. If there happens to be 1 guy, then we'll say rush numbers, meaning he'll drop towards the numbers on the field, and we'll get into that here in a second. All right, and then next, our free safety will drop down into the hook the curl area for the hot route, if there's a hot route off number 2. All right, very simple. Now let's go to 3-by-1. 3-by-1 is very simple. Same concept is in place. We're playing deep third, not a big deal. Playing deep third, not a big deal. Playing middle third because we're still coming from the same area. Okay, now here's where the trick comes in, and here's where sometimes you have to make an adjustment. There's now 3 detached receivers, okay? Rule of thumb, we never blitz across the face of a wide receiver, okay? We never blitz across the face of a wide receiver. Why is that? Because usually they formation us out of it. So what do we have to do? We have to kick the blitz down to the next 2 people that's available. And who the next 2 people that are available will be the Mike and the wheel. So you can get a term like play it, bump it, however you want to term that. It's up to you, coach. Put that in your package, however that is. But again, we simply use the word play it, play it, play it. That means that the next 2 people are going to play your blitz for you because you got kicked off. So I tell people, if you got kicked out the box, you got kicked off the blitz. All right. So our Sam is no longer in the blitz, so he's off. All right. But the free safety still has the same hook the curl area. Our Sam will now play into the curl flat, the curl middle area. And now with our defensive line, our defensive line is simply making their same stunt. Nothing changes for them. Our nose is working through to keep it contained. Again, what kind of surface do we have? A 2-man surface. What do we do with a 2-man surface? We cross. So my Mike is going to take it tight as he can. He's going to work right through that B gap, right off the behind of the end. Who's now the new flow back? The wheel is the new flow back. So if flow goes away from the blitz, he's off. If flow goes towards his blitz, he's on. If it's a pass, he's on. So it happens to be a pass. He's pass blocking. He comes around, and now the wheel becomes a contained guy. So you say to yourself, well, who's now the middle? Who's the defender now for the rush? How is he going to defend that? So the rush in, remember I told you, if it's 1 receiver detached, he's simply going to get the call, rush numbers, rush numbers. So he knows that he plays run first. There's no run. It shows pass. He now drops back to the numbers. So therefore, he's underneath the number 1 receiver for any hitches or anything like that. Okay? Now, let's work on outside zone blitz. Okay? On an outside zone blitz, we want to talk about versus tight ends. Okay, there's 2 ways we can do this. Some people still like to keep their 4-3 integrity, and that's fine. All right? Nothing changes. Alignment does not dictate assignment. So if you have them playing in a wide stance, that's perfectly fine. But they still have to get to where they need to go. So our big end, he's got to get all the way to this A gap. Our 3 technique, he has to get cross-side A gap. Our nose has to work his way and become the contain. Simple. Deep third. Deep third. Okay? He now has middle third. Not a big deal. Our free safety, he's going to reduce hook the curl on top of the tight end. And now who are our 2 blitzers? Our Sam and our Mike. Not a big deal. But now here's where the trick is. Notice, it's a 3-man surface. Can we cross on a 3-man surface? No. So what do we do on a 3-man surface? We keep it straight. All right, we keep it straight. What does that mean? So when we blitz, now our Sam has outside contain, and our Mike is going to wrap around B gap. All right, because now it's a 3-man surface. Very simple. Now, we also have 2 detached wide receivers. So what should the call be to the rush in? Rush middle, rush middle. So now he knows he's going to protect the low hole in the middle, and I will take the hook to curl. All right? Very simple. Okay? Very simple. Here's one more look at it from a tight end's perspective, but yet we moved ourselves down into kind of like a 50 front, where if we get that tight end, we'll bring our Sam down, and we'll get into that 50 front look. Again, 3-man surface. Let's look at it. It's a 3-man surface. So with that 3-man surface, we have to make sure we simply understand that we're going to keep it straight. Sam backer, he knows he has contained. 3 technique, opposite A-gap. Big end, A-gap. Nose, work your way. Mike, you're the flow player. Okay? Flow goes away. I keep talking about this. If flow goes away, your blitz is off. If flow goes to or pass, your blitz is on. Because it's straight, he's working. He's coming right through here off the C gap, B gap. All right, whichever way he can get his work. If that tackle happens to block down, he'll take C gap. If he blocks out, he'll work to the A gap, to the B gap. Okay, he'll reduce down into the hook to curl. He has deep third. He has deep third. He has middle. Because there's 2 detached receivers, he should get a what? Rush numbers, rush numbers. Check the run. I work my way down back to the middle low hole. And then he'll be in here where he'll work his way out to the hook to curl. Okay? Now, let's talk about a couple of things that needs to be talked about when it comes to blitzing. All right? A lot of coaches don't really get into the nuances of how to blitz. All right? They just tell the players, come off the edge. Well, there's certain things that you need to do. Okay? So, for example, you need to make sure that your players know how to blitz, where to blitz, and what their aiming point is. Okay? If they're going to blitz off the edge, I always tell my players, aim 1 yard deeper than the last man. What does that simply mean? You want to make sure that whoever the last person is, whether it's the running back or it happens to even be the quarterback, you want to aim 1 yard deeper than that person. Why? Because usually the mesh takes place and any type of bootlegs, zone reads, reverses happen usually 1 yard deeper than that guy. You have also heard the terminology of aim for backfield shoulder or the upfield shoulder. Yeah, that's true, but the upfield shoulder presents itself at the snap. At least when you go 1 yard deeper than the last man, you can tell what that is pre-snap. That's a good pre-snap read. And again, you do have to adjust yourself as you take your course on the way trying to get to the blitz and get home for the sack, all right, or for the tackle in the backfield, all right? Guys, I really appreciate everything. I hope these are a couple of tips that helped you understand the zone blitzing, help you understand what it is to bring pressure off of the edge. If you have any questions, please make sure you leave a comment in the section below. All right. Also, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Also, I'm going to leave my logo right over my head here is going to let you subscribe right now if you're not a current subscriber. And again, see you at the 50-yard line.